Hello everyone, welcome to Foreign Farming in the Philippines. Tata and I put our heads together on the problem of the floating cages not being, the form bar not being strong enough, and the cost of using angle bar. So what we came up with is to just use bamboo as to strengthen the run of the form bar. And this is when having your own little mini bamboo forest comes in handy. So we're going to just basically line the long runs of form bar around the walls of the nets, the frames of the nets, with bamboo to add rigidity. Much more cost effective, a little more labor intensive, but I'd rather spend money on the labor than material cost if all things are equal in the end. So I don't know, how many pieces you think you're going to cut, Tatai? 10?
4.
4? Okay. Every cage is 4 bamboo?
Yeah.
Do we have enough?
Yeah.
This bamboo has come in very handy. We've used it for years for a variety of things. Now, of course, it's not a big area. We don't grow a lot of bamboo, but it seems like we grow just enough for our needs here on the farm. We have to buy very little. And the only bamboo we buy are like the slats, the already pre-cut slats that are really labor intensive to make, and you don't end up saving anything even using your own bamboo because it is so labor intensive. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. Marcel is bringing back some more flotation balls, and we're going to continue on with the second cage, and hopefully today we can get 2 of them stocked with fish, because we really need to start moving fish out of these tanks, out of the tanks there, and into the pond, because they're just too crowded. I don't have enough aeration for them. So this will be a big help, at least getting 1,000 of the largest fishes, 1,000 of the largest fish out of these round tanks and into the grow out tanks, and actually growing and making us some peso. I'll try to sneak up on them here so you can see the problem that we're having. Yeah. All those little disturbances in the water right there are the fish up on the surface gulping for air. And even though I have a dedicated aeration compressor for this tank and one additional line coming from another compressor, it's still not enough. And it's not enough because there's 5,000 or 6,000, 7,000 fish in this tank that we need to start getting out. Because, you know, while they will survive in this environment, they won't really grow. They won't thrive. And I want them growing, because the faster they grow, the quicker they get to harvest weight. And harvesting is what pays the bills. And well, hopefully the camera will actually work on this phone and record. This third time's the charm, they say. E-boy's laughing at me. So Tata and E-boy are implementing the the bamboo strengthening strategy we came up with. Trying to get this ready today. I'd like to get this completed with the cover and in the water today and stocked. That's a lot to ask. But it's not lunchtime yet, so we have some time. The lovely Marcel is supposed to arrive with more of these styrofoam flotation balls. And I don't know, hopefully we can get it done. The water level in the pond is not, look, it's not really deep enough yet. The bottom of that net right there, which is the, what would you call it, the shallowest draft of all the nets, is not even off the top of the pond or off the bottom of the pond. We really need another 2 feet of water in this pond pretty quick. And as it turns out, it might happen more than what we want even. I just looked at the weather radar and there's another large typhoon heading directly toward us. And I don't know if it's a typhoon yet. I didn't follow. I just looked at the radar map. I didn't look at the press on it. It could just be a tropical storm. It's at least a tropical storm, and it's, I don't know, it's concerning, let's put it that way. But anyway, the reason that we could technically stock that cage right now, the reason I want them both together is that I got to move aeration down here, and I don't want to move an aeration pump for one cage. So that's why we're waiting. Part of the reason this is going so slow is that the ag well pump is not putting out much. That's what it's putting out right there, which is about a fourth of what a garden hose would put out. And not enough. So we're going to make some adjustments and get that to putting out more water. So hopefully we can get those two in the water today and get them filled up. This is the water here going into the pond, and so it's not putting out much. Probably something about half is what it was, and this is the pumping out of the ag well. And the problem is that the thin wall flexible hose is connected directly to the pump, and as it makes that curve at the top of the well, it kinks. And we've tried moving it around, trying to solve that problem. The only way to solve it is connect the black poly back to it so that the black poly comes up and makes that bend, because you can manipulate it to make a slow curve rather than a kink. And we have it there. It just somehow it didn't get connected. This water here is what is coming out of the round tanks through the holding tanks up there. I run the pump until I run the pump until it starts sucking air. So it gets ran about 20 minutes every 2 hours. And that pretty much keeps this amount of water going into the pond. So we've got this much coming in, and we're going to fix that so it puts out more. And hopefully we can get this pond filled up enough. So that cage there, I didn't even ask Tatai. So with the sinker in that cage, Tatai, is it touching the bottom of the pond?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's not even enough water technically to completely float that net, and it's a foot shallower than this one. So yeah, we're rushing things, but we really have no choice. We have to move those fish out of that round tank. There's just way too many. We're going to start losing them pretty soon. The only reason that we haven't been losing them is that I've been aggressively doing water exchange to fill this pond up. Well, putting the rigid black poly after the pump has helped a bit. Probably increase the flow by 25%. We have decided to use bamboo to hold the center of the net up since we're out of form bar. It's a good thing I came down when I did, because they were just going to sew it all together. The reason that it has to have a dome shape, like what that cage does, is that like it is right there, I don't know if you can tell, but the cover net is actually down in the water. And what will happen is that bird will walk around on top of it and spear the fish through the net. Now, he can't catch them, he can't eat them, but we caught 3 out of one of the nets that the bird had wounded. So we've got to do something, and I think bamboo, Tatai was saying something about using bamboo slats to hold that center portion up. So I guess that's the way we're going to go on that. We're putting together the 3rd cage. I'm getting a materials list so that I can get what they need to finish. So we need the form bar for sinker to hold the net down, and we need the flotation balls for any more that we need to construct. And Tata and I are going to have further discussion on building materials, whether or not we're going to continue with the the form bar and bamboo, or change to something different. And Tata and I have not had that discussion yet. But as you can see, the pond is deepening now. It looks like we missed that typhoon, or the typhoon missed us, however you want to put it. But my efforts to fill this pond up are finally bearing a bit of fruit. So I would say, with no substantial rain, we've probably got another 5 days here to where this pond will be full. But hopefully we can get these 3 cages complete and filled with fish today. That's what I would dearly like to happen. And I'm going to add, look, the duckweed is really only, it was all blown down to that end. So I'm going to bring down a full bucket this afternoon and dump it in this end. So that we can get some real production, some real duckweed production going on here. There they are. We have run out of time today. We still need to put a sinker in that to hold the net down. Because as you can see, maybe you can't see through on the video, but I can see the bottom net, the actual net that holds the fish floating on the surface. So that cage does have the sinker, yes? And this one does not. So we'll move fish around tomorrow. Tomorrow morning sometime. Now this typhoon, I don't know.
Yep, typhoon.
Yeah.
The Irration is here.
At noontime, I was really nervous. Now I'm thinking, well, Tacloban, they're not going to be happy tomorrow. But here, I'm still not sure about here. This pond may be full tomorrow. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, these are done. Looks good to me so far. All right, in goes the first 100 in that one. So I'm going to begin working on the aeration. I've brought the stones and one compressor down here. I don't think we're going to get 1,500 moved. We started too late. Probably only get 500 moved today. But at least that's a start. All right, well, we got the first one stocked. And we're calling it a day because it's getting dark. So we'll continue tomorrow. That cage down there needs to be moved closer. I guess, I don't know. I mean, these two here are the ones that I have aeration for. I'm not going to bring down, well, I don't know. I'm going to get up very early in the morning, and if these fish are on the surface gulping, then I can't take any of the aeration out of it. If they're not on the surface gulping, then the aeration is okay. And I can take, there's 4 stones in each one of those. I can take the largest one out of each and put it in that one and see how it goes the next morning. But I'm really resisting bringing down another aeration unit. That's why I'm doing it that way, because there just isn't enough aeration to begin with. And they do have well aerated pond water at the moment that's circulating through, so I don't know, we'll see and play it by ear. So I'm not going to be feeding the fish any duckweed this morning. They're going to get all fish food. I'm going to harvest duckweed and take down to the pond and just dump in the pond. But I wanted to show you guys, look, I've been running a lot of water out of the well and into these tanks to try to fill up the pond. And so the water's pretty clear. And you can see the amount of fingerlings that we have. This tank is absolutely full. This tank also is absolutely full. That tank, I can't see from here, but it is full. There's, I don't know, probably something close to 10,000 fingerlings in these 3 tanks. And as soon as we get the nets stocked in the pond, all these that are large enough to where they will stay inside that net in the round tank, they're all going to be transferred. Go around here and feed the breeders. They don't get much, just like a little splash. I give the breeders about this much. So this evening we will move the rest of we'll fill up the rest of those tanks in the pond, or cages in the pond. Gotta give the crayfish a little taste. So let's go see what we'll go feed the fish in the pond and check on them and see how they're doing. And of course, I will do this again this evening, feed them all this evening. No duckweed today because I'm trying to get enough duckweed into the pond to where I can begin harvesting out of the pond. This is the first time I've been down here this morning, and there goes that damn bird. He's already back. But he can't get to him now, so piss on him. So hopefully there's no floaters in here. Transferring them always stresses them a bit. Someone was asking, won't the net obstruct feeding them? And the answer is no. We did not put any fish in that one yet. I thought there were some fish in there. Oh well, wasted a scoop of food. They seem to have made the transfer okay. So as you can see, the duckweed is there. It's a good color. It is slowly filling in the pond, but I'm going to give it a little boost today. I'm going to bring down all that I normally harvest and put it in here and really get this duckweed to popping. Alright, so I'm going to bring out some duckweed and take it to the pond. I use this bucket because somehow it got cracked in the bottom, but it works perfect because I can go through and skim just like that, put it in the bucket, and it's self-draining, so that works good. Now I'm not gonna bring out a lot because I took out a lot yesterday, but I'll bring out probably 10 of these scoops like that and transfer into the pond. As you can see, there's a really dark green patch back there, and then there's some areas where it's not quite so green. Well, that's like, I don't know what the technical term is. I call it double layered, where it's really growing and thick. And when the whole tank is like that, you can, if you wanted, you could take out 5 of these buckets. But as you can see, most of this tank is not that way. So and excuse me, the water is actually circulating because it's coming in there, and I've put a little directional pipe on it so it naturally moves the water in a counterclockwise motion. And so if I wait long enough, that really thick patch right there will eventually get over here. But you can see these little patches where it's extra green. That's just extra thick duckweed. And I would like a whole pond that way, but you got to start somewhere. So I'm going to wait for that thick patch to get over here, and when I take it out, I'll be done. I got to be careful because all the crayfish food is right there. And it will eventually sink, and the crayfish are bottom feeders, and they'll get it all. So you guys will notice, look, I had to sweep all the way around to get a scoop from when it's like this. But these really thick patches like this, just that little bit filled this scoop up. So when it's heavy, so those thick patches like that, and here's another one coming right here, I'll be able to fill this scoop up just out of one little grab there. So that's all I'm going to take out. That's about, I don't know, a third of a bucket maybe. And I'm going to transfer that directly. Actually, I'm going to get one more out of this thick area right there, and then we'll call it good. Alrighty then. So I took out a full bucket plus yesterday. That's why there's not that much to get today. I know these thick patches keep coming around, so I'll keep pulling them out. All right, now I'm done. So I'm going to distribute this around in the pond, and hopefully that pond, because of what I'm adding today, it'll have coverage like this in like 3 days. That's what I would expect, 3 to 4 days, and the whole pond will be covered just like this. Thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.